welcome on the show. It's pleasure to host you here.
Likewise, very happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. So, Gaurav, what are you doing right now? What are the things that you're working currently?
So right now, majority of my time is going in building my own startup. So I'm right now working again. I've gone back to the 0 to 1 journey.
Oh,
Basically building, at this point, I'm building the marketing strategy for our business.
wow.
Basically, how do we do an outreach program to get the first 100 customers for ourselves?
Nice. So, Gaurav, since the COVID-19 has hit us like in past 2 months, it has been difficult for the businesses to keep up with their ongoing plans for 2020. So, I just want to know from you, how is it going for you, and how are you dealing with the pandemic and the challenges it has imposed on ourselves? So, how
So
are
I
you
think
dealing with it?
there are two parts to it, right? So one is again, so from a perspective of an early stage company, for us, it was twofold. One was that certain conversations, which I believe is with most businesses, right? So certain clients or customers of yours would either drop off, or if it's a B2B business, then things would get pushed. So that is something that is a standard thing that has happened for all. So there, what we did was we've just tried to keep the conversations on with all
Mhm.
the people that we wanted to go live with, and thankfully there hasn't been any drop off as such there. And second was a larger challenge for us was because we are a very small team, and just to get things going as a team, and just because everyone was new and had to move remote very fast, that's something that we've been grappling with.
Right. So, like even for the traditional companies, for us also, the work from home thing was a new concept. So we never used to entertain the work from home in our work culture. So it's new, and it took us some time to get used to it. And I'm sure that it must be the case for you guys also. So how did you deal with it, and how are you streamlining your workforce?
So for us, actually, it wasn't that difficult because, again, as I said, right, you're building grounds up. So
Mm-hmm.
when it was just the three co-founders, we were used to working from home. So after Licious, I had worked from home for about 3 months or so. So I was pretty used to it. But then when we hired a couple of folks, then it became very important to kind of keep their morale up, keep people engaged. And there, I think the new tools that are available have helped us a lot. So all the collaboration tools in terms of communicating with the teams uh, and doing some bit of project planning, that has
Mm-hmm.
helped us a lot.
So it
So,
might have also affected the way you were approaching your customers, the new leads, right?
so what I think, yeah, so there has been a change there. I think it would probably be there for everyone, where earlier we were planning to go a lot broader. So we were planning to look at a larger category. I mean, the way you sell, that has changed for us. Our focus is very sharp now, where we know. So there's a concept, right? Your product could either be a painkiller for someone or a vitamin. So right now we are
Right.
going after customers for whom it's a painkiller because, of course, downsizing or cost cutting is has become a norm these days because of the times that we live in. So for whichever customer it's a vitamin, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So
Right.
in that sense, our sales and marketing both are much more fine tuned than it was like a couple of months back.
No, right. I think a lot of companies have also realized that they were spending a lot on unutilized resources.
Yeah, yeah.
And now they are cost cutting, and they are realizing that, okay, this is the amount which I have, and I have to go for a long period of time. So I might as well use that resources instinctively and intelligently. So
Yeah, I think optimization is key across
yeah.
the board everywhere.
Right. So ads is the one part in marketing which I feel where the cost has been reduced drastically. What are the other channels you feel where the cost has been dropped drastically since the COVID-19 impact has hit us?
From a marketing standpoint,
Yes.
so I think a general shift of focus from acquisition to focusing on the customers that you're already serving is a major change. And again, there, depending on where companies fall into, right? So there are three types of companies, right? One, the companies which have seen a major bump in
Right.
consumption because of the scenario that we are in. Second is, let's say, fringe companies where you, some of them would see a latent or a suppressed demand, and they are preparing for a peak after this thing goes. A
Right.
larger chunk or the third set is where there has been a huge disruption because they were not prepared for it, and their business typically does not address uh, a very important problem in these times, right? So that
Right.
strategy, I think, will be very different for each of those companies. For us, thankfully, we are somewhere in the middle, where, as I said, right. So for some customers, it is a painkiller.
Mm-hmm.
What we are trying to solve for. So uh, it's not a case or question of survival for us, at least. For a lot of companies, it would be a question for survival now.
Right. So, Gaurav, since you have worked with Licious in the past, and it has also created a lot of impact on the delivery businesses in terms of health, in terms of the volume they used to see. So, what do you think the major impact has it created on the marketing side of the food and beverage industry?
So overall, food and beverage, again, it falls across the spectrum, right? Licious, thankfully, is a staple product,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's an essential product.
Right.
It does not depend on what times we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So a business like that would see a surge in demand in these scenarios. So their marketing spends would have gone down a bit, but for all the right reasons. So
Mm-hmm.
what I mean to say is that their organic demand would have shot up. And for a
Right.
business like Licious, a major challenge is not on the marketing side in these in a scenario like today. A major challenge would be maintaining supply chain because
Right.
of the lockdown that has been imposed and all of that. Procurement becomes a challenge, and I think that would be the case with any category that comes under essentials these days.
Right, true.
Uh,
So don't you think it has it has also impacted the consumer behavior at a massive scale? When on a normal day, I used to order at least 2 to 3 times in a week from Licious, and now I'm being very cautious. If the delivery guy, what if the delivery guy has an infection and he passes on to me? So situations like these, what are some kinds of consumer behavior changes that you must have observed in the since the coronavirus situation?
there are two sides to it, right? So one, a lot of customers who were very active earlier
Mm-hmm.
now would have become very cautious, and those are all also bucketed into two. So one is that there is a set of folks who stop eating meat
Right.
because anything goes wrong, which might or might not have an impact on food. The first thing they do is they go vegetarian. So that is one set. The second set is folks who would have reduced the amount of a number of times that they buy, and that's also pseudo vegetarian zone.
Right.
But there is a larger third set, which so if you look at Licious, again, is a startup, right? So at any given point in time for a startup, you don't have a lot of market penetration. You would have like single digit market penetration, right? If you look at meat as a space. The good thing in these scenarios is the other positive side of consumer behavior changes that a lot of people who were not ordering online have gone online now,
Mm-hmm.
because for a long time, so we've been in lockdown for about what, 40 days now.
Right.
For the first 15, 20 days, there was nothing that was open. So I stay in Bangalore and I stay in a relatively spaced out place, right? So I stay in HSR.
Right.
Most stores, including grocery, which were essential and all of that, were open for the first week. So where would all that latent demand go, right? So that's why you see businesses like Licious or Big Basket or Amazon. Some of them are still not being after 40 days of being in lockdown, they are still not able to cater to the demand that they have.
Right, true, true. Because whenever there are time slots in Big Baskets and Amazon also, so these are the time slot when you can order, and you cannot order throughout the day, which creates a lot of pressure on us because we have to go out and procure the general items.
Yeah. So
So
likewise, right? So even for me, I am, so I, as a person, as a consumer, my behavior has changed differently
Right.
because I am a no frills guy where I have dropped off of Amazon and Big Basket just because I stopped getting slots. And by
Right.
that time, grocery stores opened. So I am relatively okay taking my precautions and going out and buying stuff than ordering online. So I fall on a very minuscule uh, set of audience, but there's a larger audience who's moving online now. So
Right.
that's the reason a lot of these platforms have seen a bigger surge than expected.
Right. So one of the businesses which I think has also leveraged some of the features is, I think, Swiggy. They have recently started the Kirana drop-offs
Yeah.
in Mumbai. I think it was already in Bangalore. Is it?
Yes, so Swiggy had, so they've now basically gone into three services, right? So delivery,
Right.
food delivery was one. Now they have a intra-city courier kind of a service, which is pick up and drop, and then there is a grocery. So
Right.
it's kind of absorbed what Dunzo does.
Right. So yeah, they have started it in few weeks ago in our area, and it's doing really well. So we don't have to go anywhere, and people can just go to Swiggy's app and order whatever stuff they want from the Kirana
Yep,
stores.
yep. So a
Yeah.
lot of startups in a way have leveraged it very well, right? So I don't know if you know, but Bangalore, the municipal corporation set up a channel where now they have set up a WhatsApp bot which takes
Hmm.
orders, and they've tied up with like 10 or 11 startups which do deliveries for them. So a lot of startups
Wow.
which were not into the grocery space or essential space have pivoted like this just to uh, my sense is to gain some top of the funnel consumers who probably would convert somewhere down the line.
Right.
Quite a few startups have done that.
Right, right. Even the interesting case is of CultFit, whose entire product is based on the real estate, and they quickly transitioned into live classes, like in like days of time, and now they are giving out consultations and stuff, which is very impressive.
Yep,
So
yep. They've again, I think they're also the same strategies at play. Some of their businesses which weren't uh, doing as well earlier, now they've gotten a huge opportunity to double down on those businesses and to build top of the funnel for the in-center training programs, which would
right,
eventually open up, right? So they wouldn't have been able to reach out to so many folks with business as usual going on, but now they have an opportunity to probably reach out to not just India but audiences abroad as well.
right. So one thing is to introduce a feature, the another thing is to communicate it to the customer, right? So and in these time when the situation is really hard health wise, uh, people get really annoyed when they're seeing, this company has not contacted me in a while, and then now they are shooting me up with the informations. So it gets annoying for people sometimes, or sometimes they reciprocate positively to this. So, what are some methods where you think that these are some methods the marketer should adopt while communicating with the end consumers in these times?
So I think these are unprecedented times, right? So this is
Right,
not one is that you should not go out. So it should not be that you have a hammer and you're looking for a nail, where it does not mean that if you're a marketer, you have to be insensitive and you have to look for an opportunity to sell in these times.
right,
The idea should be to see how does it fit organically. So
right,
the example that I gave earlier, if you're a non-essential good, right? So let's say if you're a TV brand or if you're an appliance brand or whatever, right? There is no way I'm buying an appliance today.
right.
All you could do as a brand is tell me that, hey, I'm there, and just try and keep some recall, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's anyways very difficult for those brands. So there, the idea should be just to have some bit of recall, and you can't be badgering users. Same is true
Right,
with e-commerce, right? If you don't have grocery today, if you're not serving essentials, a lot of them, that's the reason they've moved to it. Uh, you can't be talking to the consumer every day, right? So
right,
the idea is to find that balance where if you are an essential good and if you are servicing consumers, then it's very important to uh, probably keep your daily calendars the way it were, just tweak the communication to current times and
mm-hmm.
ensure. So everyone is in a state of panic, right? Mentioned or said or unsaid, right? So the way you're speaking to the consumer has to change, one. And depending on how your serviceability levels are, you have to tweak your calendar to kind of figure out the balance. So if you're servicing every day, then there's no problem. You can go ahead with what you had already. Just tweak how you're talking to the consumer, uh, contextualize it to today. And if, however, sadly or for whatever reasons, if you don't fall into those categories, tone it down.
Right.
As a consumer, no one wants to read uh, about anything today which is not necessary. Everyone's anyways bombarded
Right.
with news, with unrelated stuff, with a lot of things which they are not supposed to. Everyone's screen time has gone up. So that is another interesting fact, right? So while you might, uh, as a brand or as a marketer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, see that, okay, the screen times have gone up. Why don't we double down on it,
Right.
right? But there is, screen time has gone up for a different reason. People are
Right.
trying to find coping mechanisms, and if you start badgering them, then there's a higher chance of it falling flat on its face than yielding any results. So depending on where your brand is, you can be steady state. Uh, if it's not essential, but it's not the at the other end of the curve, just tone it down. Probably, if you were used to doing it, if you're used to communicating multiple times a day or once every day, probably tone it down to once a week or twice a week, and just
Right.
lay low. And if you're a brand which falls under discretionary spends, then it's best to lay low, work on the product, solve for things that you were not able to solve for earlier, and wait it out.
Right, right. That's true because there are a lot of non-essential delivery apps. I won't take the names, but there's on daily basis they are sending me emails and push notification that this is what you should do today. You should clean your wardrobe. You should arrange your stuff. Like I'm irritated. Like, okay, this is the end. I don't want to listen to more of your stuff right now.
Yeah, so when I think Priyam reached out to me, the first thing I did was, because this thought came to me, I thought that what would people be doing right now? I checked the number of apps that I've uninstalled in the last few days. I've uninstalled 30 apps in the last 2 weeks
Right,
because I just don't. One, thankfully, the phone whatever we use has a Zen mode or whatever. So now that is on. So I try to cut myself off from news as well. But apart from that, there are a lot of apps which I might eventually go back to, but at this point in time, I don't need them.
right.
Any which
True.
ways, people are trying to adjust to working from home, and if you're basically putting in more distractions to that, it's not going to work.
Right, right. That's true. And the tone it down thing was really great. And I think marketers should take note of that, that you have to tone down your messages and try not to bother the consumers if you are into non-essential deliveries, because it might irritate them and they might drop off instead of returning back to you after these thing end, right? Businesses have realized that they have to lower their acquisition cost in order to keep the money for a longer period
Yeah.
of time. The other part is now to keep the consumers, get the money from the consumers who are already onto your platform, where the retention strategies plays a very major role. And it comes also from the engagement part. Okay, the first thing is, if I am out of sight, I am out of mind from the consumer. So I have to engage the consumer on a daily basis to let them know that, okay, we exist. You have to come back to us when these times end. So, what are some engagement strategies which you might have noticed also in the past few weeks, and which you think are really working for the brands right now?
So I think going back to the same thing, right? So where you fall in the spectrum. To give you an example, right? So a lot of platforms that you see today where transactions are not possible, right? So entire
Right.
industries have gone down. But a lot of brands, I will not take the names, of course, but a lot of brands have moved to a different strategy. So they're using content very well, and that to an extent works well for a brand like Licious as well. So
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reasons, as a brand, let's say you were working on a pure transaction model where you were focusing on bottom of the funnel largely. Uh, Today, that has gone for a toss for a known reason. But you can always work right now or again, this is purely from keeping your mind share that you had. Work on the middle of the funnel and the top of the funnel, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you have content that's there, double down on content, engage. So if you look at consumers, what are they doing today, right? They're at home. It's awesome if you are a remote work. If you're a company that enables remote work, that's something that's going up. Two, people are one, either panicking or bored to death. And what do you need in those scenarios? You just need content. And that is a very good strategy to go after. If you can, one, engage with people, give them what they need, which would be things like how to do stuff, because this is the first time that a lot of people uh, are doing things which they've not done in their entire life because they don't have any help,
Right.
right? And that even and that's very extendable. It's not just for product categories. It depends on it could be any business that you're in. So to give you an example, uh, I'll give you a marketing example itself. So I
Mm-hmm.
am setting up uh, I was setting up a website for myself, which I've not done in the last 7 years. The last website I set up was 7 years back, and I'd always had help for it,
I can
right?
relate to that.
And yeah, and I'd forgotten the entire process. And I would have watched like at least 100 hours of content to make the best website in the world. Similarly, there are people who are learning to cook for a brand like Licious or anyone who's in the food category. Uh, if you're into entertainment, then people are creating content today. Why not build a product feature or roll it out? Or if you have some capabilities, morph it to make it a crowdsourcing platform, right? The way
Right.
a lot of other players are doing it. So double down on things which are going to organically be consumed rather than sticking to the ways that you were earlier. That is the
Right.
only approach that I would suggest. And it's irrespective of the size of the business or the category that you're in today.
Right. And since you mentioned about creating content which I wouldn't have consumed otherwise, one great example that comes to my mind is again of Cult Fit. So they are now producing episodes of recipes on their
Yeah,
application. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, and it's really nice. Like you can, I didn't know until yesterday that I can actually make hummus and pita at home. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so it's
that's
even for them, right? So if you look at Cult, they have such a huge app,
yeah,
and these features, recipe videos, it's not that they did not have it earlier. As a consumer, you and I never saw it because that's not what the app was being used for,
right,
and they would have had to spend a lot of money to make that product feature visible. But
right,
now, because the times have changed, they would probably be right up there in terms of being agile, right? So they switched their strategy very very fast.
right.
They moved out all the content which was unnecessary, and they're doubling down on what you would consume today.
Right. So, what do you think? What should be some methods through which we can increase the user retention, especially for the non-essential delivery part?
So I think one is start looking at it differently. Uh, don't look at transactions. Don't look at bottom of the funnel. Try and engage people with relevant content.
Right.
Uh, One benefit that you still don't lose with remote is that you can still create content, probably
Mm-hmm.
cheaper because of the times that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Probably double down on that, and then push those things, right? So everyone is trying to figure out how to deal with the scenario that we are in. Uh, just try and see how your brand fits into that. So
Right.
recipes is one good example. Fitness is another good example. All the non-essential categories. So for example, only thing that I can't think of is, let's say, consumer durables. If you're a brand that exists in that domain, still you
Mm.
could probably go out and do some DIY videos. So to give a very apt example, right? So the first thing that I got scared of when the lockdown happened was because I'm staying alone. So the thing that I was scared of was if my water purifier breaks down, I don't have anything open around me. Uh, there's no one who's going to service it. I
Right.
kid you not, I would have watched an hour and a half, 2 hour long video how to fix it if it would have broken. There is
Right.
an audience for that as well. So it is irrespective of the category that you're in. DIY would definitely be a very big category today to work with. See if you can go in that domain and push content like that. And even if it's not just about content, if content is not part of your brand strategy, probably start looking at how you can build your funnel, because this is not a scenario which is not going to not cure, but things are going to
Yeah, not
eventually,
going to go away easily.
it might take 15 days, 30 days, 45 days, 50 days, whatever.
Right.
The idea should be to move your entire focus towards top of the funnel. So look at broader audiences. Don't engage with just the audience that you had. Go back and see. So if we just talk about retention, right, there is going to be a huge cohort which dropped off,
Mm-hmm.
which was not coming to you earlier. But
Right.
this is a very good opportunity to reach out to them.
Right.
More
True.
so for people who are able to service, because that's an excellent opportunity for them. And I personally know of brands who've gotten successfully revived the youth set because of these times. But even for brands who are not being able to service, it's a good opportunity to go and mend those relationships with the customers that you lost.
So, what do you think for the foreseeable future? How and when the situation will get over? When we would be able to get back to normal, according to you?
I think anyone's guess is as good as mine, but I would probably answer it in terms of consumption, right? Because again, all of us are product managers or marketers or
Right.
fall in those lines. So uh, I think it's going to be very difficult if you are a discretionary spend category,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because I don't think anyone had seen a jerk like this in their lifetimes. Uh, so a lot of categories where a year back someone would have asked me, I was very bullish on those. So for example, investments as a category in India was a category that's highly underpenetrated, but today I don't know when is it going to bounce back, right?
Right.
But for all other categories where you are either essentials or let's say somewhere between essentials or discretionary or probably low ticket size discretionary spend, I think that should bounce back in a quarter.
Right. Even I think so. It should bounce back at least by the end of the year, the low discretionary spends.
Yeah.
And yeah, about the travel and all, they will have to see the day of the light.
Travel, I think, is
Yeah,
gone for a year for
yeah,
sure.
at least gone for I think 1.5 years. How, until the economy bounces back and the health situation is improved.
Yeah, so it's not just about the economy, right? So a lot of places have actually, it's also interesting to see how the countries lift their bans, because my guess is that a lot of international borders will still stay shut. Uh,
Right.
so that's an interesting variable that none of us know how is it going to pan out.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to have a huge impact on tourism
Right.
as such or travel. On the
Right.
other hand, domestic might improve. I'm not sure. That might pick up faster.
Any last comments for the marketers out there? Any suggestions?
So my only suggestion is figure out where you are on the spectrum, uh, and just move one step above where you used to look at in your marketing funnel. Let's say if you were in any of the industries like e-commerce, where you were typically focused on bottom of the funnel, forget that for now. It is not going to happen. It's a good opportunity to learn and move up. Look at things which help you build some of the MOFO, tofu as we call it, and depending on where you fall, yeah, just look at one step above that. And if you are successful and if you are in a place where you are able to service your clients today, customers today, then I think just optimize. There is no reason for you to spend. Uh, these
Right.
are the best times to acquire customers with no cost. Uh, and you should just focus on experience on that front. Uh, yeah,
Right.
that's what I would probably say.
Right. Also, for the marketers who earlier used to focus on the micro aspects of the business, I think macros, focusing on the macros and seeing what will happen in the future and being prepared for that. Some of the startups have really done well. One of them is Cult Fit, of course. The another one is Swiggy, and there are also few of the startups who has managed to bounce back in time and connect with the consumers. So it's really important to focus on the macros and analyze what will happen in the future and be prepared for it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, if it's possible for you, get out of the categories that are not going to work for you.
Right.
This is a time where you should reevaluate all your tactics and strategies. And I have done that myself. So I understand that there would have been places where you would have been working on certain things for maybe a year, right?
Right.
But the scenario that we are in, probably that category or that product feature is useless today. Uh,
Right.
so just dump that, move on. Probably you will get the time to utilize it in the near future, and you might have it ready already. But there is no reason to kind of keep harping on it.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you so much for the amazing analysis and the insights. We really loved it, and I hope the audience loved it too. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Happy to be there. Thank you.